Okay.
We are live.
From the living rooms of David Blender and Rafi Pinsky. All right, so on another episode of Soothing Semantics, I'm your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, leave your comments. And here we go. So today we have a very special guest, an extremely good friend of mine, Mr. Dovey Blender. Okay. And he is the proud owner of a new YouTube channel called Savage Motivation. So if you go to Savage Motivation 23 on YouTube, you'll find it. He has some awesome content. He's growing very quickly. And I implore you guys to definitely check it out. If you are someone like myself that loves these powerful motivational videos when you're in the gym or you're going through tough times or whatever the case is, you'll love it. It's an awesome channel.
Thanks for the plug. And then one more thing.
Go ahead.
Second channel, Legends of Combat. The link will be in Rafi when it's ready. Coming out with fire shit. If you can see this painting, this is the famous Muhammad Ali. Sonny Liston on the ground, world famous. There's a 9-part documentary series coming out on that, plus some fire boxing, UFC highlights, knockouts, other cool ass content. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. So we're doing a bit of a quick episode today, and obviously the talk of the town is Jon Bones Jones. For whoever doesn't know, whoever's not into fighting or combat sports, Jon Jones is the undisputed GOAT of the fighting game. So the absolute best fighter in the world. He's been that for quite a long time, but now that he absolutely mopped the floor with Ciryl Gane, he's a French native. He's in the UFC. Mopped the floor with him, first round submission. And it's pretty much undisputed now that he's the best fighter in the world. So, dude, what's your take on it, man? Like,
I mean, like you said, he's the greatest, obviously. But you look at Jon Jones' career; he's the youngest ever champion in the UFC, 23. It's like unheard of. It's slightly older than a teenager to be destroying men that were dominating other organizations. Like Shogun Rua was like killing it in Pride. Everybody was lauding him up. Yeah, he's the greatest. And then Jones just runs over all of them. Rampage Jackson, so many. Daniel Cormier twice, just kicking people's asses one after the other.
Yeah.
Now he takes 3 years off, bulks up 40 pounds. Everybody's saying, is he going to be the same? Is he not going to be the same? How could he move the same? He was quick. And he just dominates this guy that everybody was saying, oh, look at his kickboxing. He's so good. His movement, his defense, blah, blah, blah. And he said it all week. He said it at the press conference. He's like, I'm going to make it look easy. That's what he kept saying. And he was actually a crazy press conference. There's a video going around online where they asked Jones about Ciryl Gane. And he's like, well, I've been studying film on him for a long time. And he just starts listing weaknesses after the other. And the camera goes to Gane's face. And you see like a freaking concerned look go over it. And he finished him very easily within 2 minutes of the first round, which is like
it's nuts. It's crazy. I actually just saw a video of there's the famous him and Cormier video where he talks about how he's going to kill Cormier if he what did he say if he spits on him or something?
Yeah, they've had a whole history which is like kind of crazy, and it's probably too long to get into it on this short episode, but right. They had actually, like whenever there's press conferences and Dana White's always there going like this and security's going like this to make sure the fighters fight in the cage and not on the stage at the press conference. So Jones and Cormier actually had an infamous brawl where like you could find it online again. And like the whole background with the UFC with the fights was knocked down and just this crazy brawl a few days before the fight. And it got to the point where Dana White had to have like full-fledged security to make sure that would never happen again, because that could jeopardize the whole event. And, if somebody gets knocked out in a brawl, you just lost millions of dollars because you can't throw the event.
Right. I saw it. Yeah, it was crazy. But I was taught there was another video about Cormier where Jon Jones is saying, Cormier is saying, I will take you down 100 out of 100 times. He's like, you're lucky if you get me 5 times or something. And he said, I will use the most malicious techniques and to break you down, and your face will be I'm gonna open your face, and it's just like, yeah, it's really insane. Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, Khabib's father, was posted a video a while ago just saying he's the best in the world. He's gifted by God and all those things. He's like, he might not be the most classy fighter according to the law and his actions, but he's the best fighter. So
yeah, and
yeah,
it's you hit on something interesting though, because that's also an interesting thing about Jones, is that he is not, he's had many issues throughout his life, personal issues, self-inflicted issues with the law, several arrests and different things. And, and I'm sure there are many people who are like, he's a dick, he's an asshole, he's a prick, he would be a serial killer if there was no UFC. And it's possible to say that. I do think that you could look at the positive spin of things, and you look at a person who's, deeply flawed, but at the same time, he was able to commit himself, dedicate himself, and excel beyond anyone's belief in a certain area, which is MMA. And actually, somebody asked him this week, this is a crazy thing. There was like an interview where somebody said, "Are you a good guy who does bad things, or are you a bad guy who's trying to do the right things?" And like, you see like the brain, the neurons in his brain like lighting up and him like thinking, and he like puts on this like devilish grin. He's like, "I think I'm a bad man who's trying to do good." And then like it just ends. And he's like, oh. It's crazy.
That's the best answer. The other answer wouldn't have been as entertaining.
It's the perfect
I also think there's a truth to it.
Like him.
Yeah. What I think? I think he has the ability to. Yeah, I think he has the ability to do.
Talk about his, like, aside from his whole mental state, his skill set is just insane. It doesn't. You can watch some videos of him doing stuff, and actually, I might do this for my YouTube channel. Just like take clips of his ridiculous, unorthodox methods of striking, wrestling, and all sorts of crazy techniques that are effective. And he's like the only one who can pull them off. He's thrown like elbow uppercuts. Like nobody would ever even try any of these things he's doing, and he's smashing people. It's absurd. But yeah,
he's so brilliant as a guy. He's a very, very smart person, and he's very confident. He's everything. He has all the ingredients for a savage, animalistic fighter. Just everything he's got. He's just, it's really interesting when you stack when I compare myself. It's not when I say compare myself. We're totally different human beings. But I was telling you this in DM on Instagram. It's like, to accomplish a feat of being the best fighter in the world, as a man, it's one of the most admirable things. You're the best in the world at combat sports, at fighting, which is just revered. You can't not respect a guy like that. Like, for whatever stuff he's done outside of the ring, I really hope that domestic thing isn't true, because that definitely lowers my respect to a large degree. I can't ignore this incredible accomplishment. It's just insanity. It's insanity. And then the when he bad, because for whoever I have to just, sometimes I kind of dumb it down for people. For whoever doesn't know, when you call someone the GOAT, it's an acronym for the greatest of all time. So people actually look at it as an actual goat, as an animal. And at the end, when he was interviewed at the end of his fight, he goes, "Bah!" And the crowd was losing it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And also taking 3 years off. He took 3 years off.
Crazy, dude.
Most people who take 3 years off at anything at the top of the game, they can't be at the top of the game immediately. They get a warm-up fight. There's many things that happen. We don't need to compare, but Ali, because of the army, he didn't want to go in the Vietnam War, so he was unable to fight for like 3 years. And when he came back, he had a couple of warm-up fights, which he won, but then he lost very narrowly to Joe Frazier in one of the greatest fights ever, at Madison Square Garden in 1971. So it just shows you, like, not just regular people, but like real great war-hardened, battle-tested champions, when they take long periods of time off, are most of the time not the same. not
Can you
like
imagine?
sometimes.
Can you imagine how insane he would be if he didn't take the break? I mean, I don't know how much better he could be. I don't know how he could be any better than he is, but dude, I feel like he could flick on in the forehead and knock him out. You know what I mean?
The only reason he went up to heavyweight to bulk up was because there was just nobody in his division that would even give him any sort of challenge at all.
Right.
The guy has 14. He had 14 title defenses, and like, it's. I think I saw a stat that said now he has 15 after winning. The rest of every other division in UFC combined has 17. Every other person, every other, like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't even come close. That's crazy. Yeah, man, it's absolute insanity. And then there's a lot of really good fights coming up.
Yeah, I'll just say that card, aside from Jon Jones, there was a women's fight, which was a big upset, but I'm assuming like fighting's already a topic that a lot of people don't know about, so we'll just move on to the men. But there's a couple of major up and comers that were on that card. There's one guy from Kazakhstan. His name is Shavkat. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name because I'm going to butcher it. But he is, one of these like freakish guys from in the middle of nowhere who just comes on the scene and starts smashing everybody, which is crazy. So he actually had a really good fight. He was tested, but he's like a very well-rounded martial artist. He hit him with a spinning wheel kick and all sorts of crazy shit. Mm-hmm. And then there's this other guy, very interesting, Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel is a wrestler from Penn State. So he won the trophy for being the nation's best wrestler in college, which is called the Hodge Trophy, I believe. And his wrestling record was like 105-2 or something crazy over like 4 years. Mm-hmm. And as most people know, in MMA, wrestling is the most important sport because you can effectively control your opponent for whenever you want if you get your hands on him, if your wrestling is better. So he's an extremely highly touted prospect. He's had like 3 fights, and he was put on the main card, which is unheard of. And he got a first-round stoppage. Like, he basically immediately got his opponent in the clinch, did like some sick judo throw, and just submitted him. So, yeah, he's like also really crazy hyped, and he's just like smashing through the hype. And he's got this quiet kind of like swag about him, which is he just keeps saying, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be that pound for pound GOAT. I'm going to be this. And it's like his striking is getting better. He's knocked somebody out, and outside of the UFC in his first fight, he knocked somebody out. But he's got a crazy foundation to be a great, great fighter. He fights at middleweight. So that's Khamzat Chimaev's division now. So
I would love to see that. I would love
1 or 2, 3 years down the road. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I would love to see that, man. I would love to see Khamzat. I don't think Khamzat has a chance against Jones, but I would love to see that. They're different divisions, but I would love to see that if they were able to both get to light heavyweight somehow. That would be crazy. But then again, I don't know. I think Jones would smash him. I think Khamzat would put on a pretty decent fight. I think he would. I think he would impress us. But yeah, dude, it's not Jon Jones. Jon Jones is too much of an animal for him. But I would love to see that. I would be stoked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just not going to happen because of size differences.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there was talk about Alex Pereira fighting Khamzat. They were beefing, but not right away. Like, I don't even know if that's going to happen. And
that would be a good fight, though, man. That would be a
good fight, but it'd be one of those like somebody is seriously mismatched, either in striking or wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, Alex Pereira can't really wrestle, so it's like.
But that's maybe why. But that's why it's so important. That's why I think it would be such a good fight, because then we would see who's really got it. Yeah, I don't know. Then we'd see what really matters, what really counts. That would be very interesting. I think Khamzat would be Covington. Honestly, I think Khamzat could win the title. I really do.
His time is coming. That's for sure.
I think he's going to get it. I'll be honest. These Caucasian fighters, they're going to dominate the UFC. Give it a couple of years, they're going to dominate the UFC. They already are, but aside from Jon Jones, dude, they're going to take all the titles in a matter of years. I think it's pretty crazy. They just want it badly. They want it more than everybody else does, and they're more committed.
There's like a certain discipline they have, especially like the Muslim ones, where they don't do anything aside from train and like pray, and that's it. They don't really do anything else.
Train Allah, train.
Yeah. So if you're doing that, like, you know, I don't know how there's no other distractions. Like other people, they're running businesses or they're drinking, they're partying, trying to get laid. Like, not these guys.
Yeah, that's all they do. It's crazy. Okay, well, yeah. Let's wrap this up because we got some holiday to get to. Also, just listed a new property, so that'll be coming to market soon. So for everyone listening.
Okay.
All right. So for everybody watching this episode who is in real estate, whether you're a realtor or you are an investor, definitely take a look at this property. It's going to be a property that needs some reno. Great property. So I'll get more info for you. So you can, if you have my number, reach out to me in text. You can give me a call. If you follow me on Instagram, you can send me a DM. My contact info, my number is in my bio on Instagram. So you can also reach out. And that is the story. If you want, David, if you want to list for yourself for consulting, if anybody needs, you can also, I can leave your info.
They can get my number through Rafi if anybody's interested.
Perfect.
It's not really a pitch. We cater to clients differently individually. It's kind of hard to give a pitch over to such a general audience, but if anybody's interested, they can message Rafi and he'll get it to me.
Fantabulous. All right, guys, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, if you have any comments on what we discussed, I think what we discussed is all, it's really hard to dispute.
Right.
Definitely
subscribe to my YouTube. And by the way, if you like these episodes, maybe we can do more cross references, fight recaps, fight promotions. Who knows?
Absolutely, guys. All right, it is a wrap. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace. Okay, so hold on, dude. You don't have to.